Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. And today I have the pleasure of having my good friend Kevin with me of Kevin's Loving Vibrations. Hey, Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm great, Susan. It's so good to be with you. I always enjoy our shows together. It's always so much fun.
Totally. Not really and totally. I have had a great week of collaborations this week, let me tell you.
Yeah,
So,
busy
um,
week.
we're going to be talking politics tonight, so buckle up, everybody. We just had Super Tuesday yesterday. We will be taking your questions, so put them in the chat and we will discuss. Kevin and I will be asking our spirit guides. We'll be reading the energy. Kevin may pull cards. We don't know what's going to happen here, right? But we really do want some clarity. I think that's kind of what I want. I want
Yeah,
clarity right now.
absolutely. There's so much going on right now, and I don't know. It's just like there's so much news each day. It's hard to keep track of it all, and it's just all overwhelming. We have a lot of we have an eclipse coming up that's been very powerful, and a lot of solar activity, and most people watching are empaths. So it's been very overwhelming for a lot of us, but we're gonna get through it.
It totally has been overwhelming. So you guys do your self-care, okay? Drink your water, get your electrolytes, get your snuggie, get on the couch and watch something that is not politics. Okay, that's my
Yeah.
advice. Especially if it's just here to rile you up. If they're just there because they want to make you upset so that you'll watch, that's not worth watching. Okay, you'll find that Kevin and I are very measured. We're very calm. We're not here to rile anybody up or make anybody upset. Hey, we've got Stone Spirit. We got also Little Blue Lotus Astrology is here. So we got some readers here. That's awesome. And thank you to all the moderators. Thank you to Sharon Sipe as usual. But thank you to all the other moderators. Really appreciate it. I feel like the trolls have been out a little bit more
Yeah.
than in the past. Like we went through a terrible period of time and then they kind of chilled out. Now they're kind of ramping back up again. So you moderators, feel free to just eject people, right? Like I know sometimes it's hard to know what should I do. Eject them. It's my
Just
channel.
exactly.
Just eject them. Yeah,
I
you
love it.
guys can ask questions. Stone Spirit's here. You can ask her questions about crystals, and Little Blue Lotus is here, and she might be able to answer some questions about astrology. Um, and Butterfly Kisses Healing is here, and we have a wonderful community. I mean, this has been a lifesaver. Honestly,
Yeah,
I would be perished somewhere if it hadn't been for this community. So thank you guys so much for supporting us, and thank you for supporting everybody else.
absolutely. It's like we're all getting called onto YouTube and part of this wonderful community because we all need each other right now.
God, so true. It's so true. So, how would you like to move forward, Kevin? Do you want to grab a question?
I can if you want,
Yeah,
or if there's
sure. Why
something that
not?
you want to read on, something that's been on your mind that you want to take a look at.
Oy vey. Okay.
Um,
Well, I would just say the first thing is that I just said to Kevin, I've been working. I haven't been looking at the Super Tuesday. I haven't really looked at much. I mean, I know that Nikki Haley stepped down, which Kevin has been predicting for a while. Honestly, I mentioned with Jen Lin and Johnny Atro's Apprentice a couple of days ago. I feel Nikki, there's something sinister. Like she's
mhm.
like waiting. You know what I mean? Like, yes, she's stepping down, but it's almost like she knows something that other
Yeah,
people don't know. And she's not going to be too far away. So, do you see her? Do you see Nikki Haley stumping for Trump? Do you see her trying to be kind of pleasant? Or do you see her being more, like, I'm out?
I feel like she kind of plays both sides of the fence on that one. I don't know if I feel like a full endorsement of Trump, but I also don't see her stumping for Biden either, by
Yeah.
any means. But I almost feel like, too, and I agree with what you're saying. Me and you have both predicted that before the election, we have a hard time even feeling like Trump being around. And so she's definitely eyeing up, like, if there was an opportunity to jump back in, she would. I don't know how the rules go if Trump's already the nominee and he has the VP pick if it goes to the VP, or it feels like chaos. You know, that's
Yes.
what I pick up with it. But I
Yeah.
also feel like with her too, I don't think she'll act upon it, but I do think that she may talk to like no labels or like think about maybe even like some kind of independent.
Really? Oh
I
my
could see it.
God. I did not get that wasn't on my bingo card, y'all. That was not
How does
on my
that feel
bingo
for
card.
you? I don't know
That
if I
makes
feel like she
sense.
actually I don't know if she actually does it, but I think she's definitely talking to people. Maybe not just yet, but
It makes sense. No, it makes sense. It's like she's in the catbird seat. You know what I mean? Like she's
mhm,
in the wings. That way she can be viable, a viable candidate if and when Trump implodes and the Republican Party implodes. Because I've seen the same thing. You've seen like chaos. Like
yeah,
there's no one on the ticket. Like, because we know that it's either Trump or nobody. Like, they're not going to let anybody else get on this ticket, even though they should, because I don't know what happens to Trump. I can't figure it out. Either A, he's he's been exposed as having his, dementia has been is
yeah,
like perhaps an inner person exposes it, or a doctor, somebody exposes it. Either that, or he crosses over, but he's
yeah,
not around. He's not viable. He's not a viable candidate. Okay. So I think
yeah.
that's really smart about Nikki Haley. I just get the willies. Like, I just see her hiding in the bushes. She can jump out and
She's
jump
gonna try.
on and say, it's me, it's me. But of course, DeSantis is going to jump out. Vivek is going, everybody's going to jump out and
Yeah.
try to
I
get.
don't see it being Nikki Haley being the nominee in the
I
end,
don't
though.
either.
I don't see it.
This is the problem. We all see the same thing, but we can't make sense of why we see it. It's very weird.
Maybe
And
as
then
we get closer, we'll get more clarity on how it all kind of unfolds. I think maybe there's some things that need to play out first before we can see it more clearly, you know?
maybe it's not decided yet. Maybe the end
Yeah,
result is decided, but how they get there is not decided. And then I understand that Biden came out and said, "Hey, we can work together. Your voters can come over to me. I think you and I, Haley, can both agree that Trump is the bad guy here, that
mhm,
that is not the way the voters need to go." So he put the olive branch out to her voters and said, "You might should join us. This is the party of
yeah,
sanity."
and I see that. I'm not saying every Haley voter is gonna go for Biden, but I think, like, 2/3 is what I'm feeling. I feel like it's a large chunk.
I do too. I think it's 2/3, 80%. Isn't that about 80%? Um,
Yeah, pretty close.
So yeah, I agree with you. 75, 70 to 80%. They're gonna go
Mhm,
with him, because between now and say August, this man is gonna go even further basically off of the rails. So whatever alarming things that we've seen with his slurring of the speech and his attacks, this is stage one. Like, I think
yeah,
we've got more stages to go. And
oh,
so
absolutely.
if you can imagine how much worse that's going to be. So that's what I think is happening there. I think Biden caught some flack about that, about saying, "Hey, let's work together, like come over to my side." But I think it's kind of brilliant. I think that the middle voters, we're not the MAGAs. We're not talking about MAGAs are
Right,
gone, but the middle voters really are looking for somebody who's calm, who's not going to get us in a war, who's not going to sell our secret documents, who's, so I think that's going to help Biden. Don't you think?
yeah, absolutely. Well, and you even saw it too when Biden was at the border, he told Trump, he's like, "Let's come together. Let's figure this out. Let's get something done there." We know Trump won't do that, but I mean, he's still even kind of working out, saying, and he's shown that he has worked across the aisle to get things done throughout his presidency. But yeah, I agree.
Throughout
I
his whole
still agree with
career,
that. Hmm.
you know? So the other thing is, this might be news. I think it's news. Is that apparently Zelensky was in a motorcade, somewhere, maybe in Odessa, and the Greek prime minister was also in the motorcade in separate cars, like 150 meters apart, and a missile missed, but was aimed at Zelensky.
Yeah,
Now, of course, everybody is talking about how that could be an Article 5, which is NATO says that's it. NATO is involved. This is now war. It's a little bit fuzzy about, in my reading of Article 5, if that really, I mean, I think it's great. I don't think it's an automatic Article 5 thing. And the guides are reminding me that Russia has accidentally sent bombs into other countries on the border, and
Right.
that didn't start an Article 5. But pretty brazen of Putin
Mm.
to even attempt that when there was another leader, even if it's not, a United States or, Germany, or it's a smaller country, but pretty brazen.
Yeah, I don't see NATO getting involved, like troops on the ground in Ukraine. I haven't seen that. Um, but I have said I've said it before. I do feel like Zelensky does need to be kind of careful with those around him because I do feel like it was targeted. I hadn't heard that until you told me, but I definitely felt like he was the target there, and they missed when you said that. I mean, I think it just shows how desperate Putin's getting. I mean, we just saw what happened with Navalny, and um, he's just desperate to wrap up this war. It's not going to happen though.
It's not going to happen. And I'll tell you, my hit lately has been Prigozhin, the guy that got blown up in the
Mm,
plane. He's also the guy who brazenly drove those tanks all the way into Russia, into St. Petersburg. Prigozhin was the Wagner. I think he's the Wagner guy. And he was one of Putin's militia leaders. Okay, so that
mm,
guy blew up in a plane after he kind of confronted Putin because he felt like Putin wasn't supporting the militia, giving them enough bullets and ammunition, stuff like that. Okay. Now, what my hit is that somebody, so then, Putin disbanded. He disbanded that group because they had a lot of power. It was
yeah.
a professional military militia. He disbanded them. My hit is that somebody from Prigozhin, and perhaps he's doing this from the other side as well, is setting up a hit on Putin.
Hmm.
And so I think Putin is feeling the pressure, right? The pressure is
Yeah.
starting, the water's rising. He's starting to really feel the pressure. And he's going to get really erratic, and he might make a mistake. That's a mistake. Getting, 300 feet away from the Greek prime minister, is that a mistake? Or is that crazy? Maybe it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, but it's interesting that you brought that up though, because I I've said it in my 2024 predictions. I said it when that mercenary group was going through Russia. I when they took out Prigozhin, I felt like it happening again. Maybe that group's disbanded, but I feel like a lot of civil unrest, protests, even some of those mercenary groups kind of going back up there um, to try to take over. It's going to be a you know what show in Russia, and this eclipse especially. I feel um, really not being good for Putin
Dangerous.
in Russia. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that, and that's going to give us everything we want, because if
yeah,
Putin's not there, this power vacuum. It's going to take the heat off Ukraine. It's actually going to it's going to have this domino effect with Bibi, not yet Netanyahu. It's going to have a domino effect with Trump. All three
yeah.
of those men are kind of like somehow energetically drinking from really bad energy. And I
Mm,
think that's going to be the beginning of this trifecta of all three of them going out. I just
yeah.
didn't know who was going to go first. I still don't know who's going to go first. Have you gotten any more clear on that?
Well, it's always hard the timing of it, and sometimes we get hits on it, but I, maybe I'm feeling spring, but who knows? Is it spring of this year? Is it next year? But I definitely feel like I said, the eclipse energy, I feel like takes down Putin um, and I feel like it really weakening Trump too. I feel like Netanyahu's out more towards like the middle to um, like summer or fall of this year, him being forced out. I don't feel like him passing, although I've kind of felt that way about Trump and Putin, but yeah, he's out of the prime minister, out of his seat in Israel. I almost feel like a woman energy coming in, and I see her being really crucial in making that two-state solution, like in the next year and a half.
That's a lot of changes right there. I do
Yeah,
agree with you. I really do agree with you with that because Gantz, that guy, Benny Gantz, he's been called by the White House. So they're talking to him about, you know, something. They're talking to him about leadership is what they're talking to him about. How do we
who did you say?
put you in this leadership position? But if you see a woman,
I feel like it might be a woman, or maybe it's an activist really standing up for the two-state solution and being crucial. But I feel like a younger woman.
could Israel does that thing where they do co-rulership, like
Mm,
they'll one party will rule it and then the other party. So it
kind
could
of like
be that.
different
It could be
factions,
that
right?
that
Different
shared
factions, right?
I don't know what you call it, but anyway, I know Israel's done that before in the past. And they were doing it. But
Mhm.
when the attack happened, when the Hamas attacked them, that was the end of that. So then it was just Bibi Netanyahu.
I don't know a whole lot about their politics over there or their system. Who this woman might be. Like I said, maybe it's very well like an activist that is like very vocal and is able to get agreements done that way too.
Coalition. Thank you. Coalition government. Thank
Coalition,
you for
thank
that, Kat. Yep, that's what it's called. I think it's look, you guys, this energy is moving really quickly. And to me, it feels like it's reckless. It
you.
feels like it's not single-minded tunnel vision. It's kind of like a wrecking ball. Is what
Yeah,
they're showing me. It goes over here, it hits this, it goes over here, it hits that. We may get information about something and we may be trying to process that. Meanwhile, this over here happens. So you may just feel kind of seasick from all the different things that are happening. Um,
absolutely.
and
And it
and that's
kind of
how you want to
clouds
take care.
and it kind of clouds as we're following the energy. I mean, I consider
Oh,
myself very empathic and I call myself an energy intuitive. So when you try to follow the energy to the most likely outcome with all of this stuff going on, when it's all chaos, um, it's hard to really see clearly what's going to happen with this, with this, with this. It's almost as you get closer and the energy gets more intense and stronger, it's easier
yes.
to kind of
Yes.
zoom in on it, if that makes sense.
Yes. That's why I was wondering about Prigozhin because it
Yeah.
came to me. I don't go looking for that stuff. And I wonder if it's really in the energy right now. Now, somebody could miss just the way they missed with Zelensky. Somebody could miss, but there's definitely energy around somebody avenging Prigozhin's death. And also, don't make any mistake, avenging Navalny's death. So you got
Yeah,
a lot of people coming for Putin right now. He's not a very safe
absolutely.
person. He's like the guy that stands in the middle of the golf course in a lightning storm. You don't want to
Mm,
be anywhere near that person,
right, right.
You don't want to be anywhere near that person. That's kind of how
Do
Trump
you
is too, to be honest.
do you feel like Zelensky is gonna be safe?
I do, but I've seen things that haven't come to fruition. Like I've seen things harm to him. Like I saw
Mm,
something hitting him on his head like a month ago. Well, that could have been that missile. But it hasn't happened. So he's got a
mm,
lot of angelic energy. He's
yeah,
a lot like Biden in the sense that he is the man. He's supposed to be their leader. This is a karmic placement for him.
yeah,
Um,
and
I
he's being
don't
divinely guided for protection and to be here now to help with, keeping Ukraine together and fighting.
The thing that will be a miraculous, if you ask me, is if he's still around 3 years after the war,
Mm.
five
Do you mean
years
a
after the
prime
war.
prime minister or,
I mean,
physically?
around the planet. But
Mm,
yeah, I think he'll step down. I think this war has been more than I think he will be happy to say, I piloted the ship, I landed the plane. Let's have
mm.
elections. I'm out.
Yeah,
Because
I
that's
can
also
agree with that.
the thing to do. That's also
Mhm.
the democratic thing to do. Um, he might be on some committee, some kind of like building committee, or I don't know what this committee is. It's like a rebuilding. It's a rebuilding committee.
Yeah.
He might be on the rebuilding committee, but he's really conscious of people saying he's grifting, or because money's going to be flowing, right? So
Yeah.
he's not going to want to be around all that money. Honestly, I hope somebody with money takes him to a private island and gives him 6 months. You know what I mean? To just
Just relax.
chill out.
Chill out. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine
I can't either.
being in that role that
I mean,
he's
he's not a general. He's not a military person. Military
yeah.
people kind of get cured. You know what I mean? They kind of get emboldened or, used to it because they've been
Yeah.
involved in it for so many decades.
But I agree with you 100%. I feel like when everything settles down, I don't think he would do it before, while there's still conflict going on.
No. Mm-mm.
But when it's all settled, yeah, I could see him.
Out.
Okay,
Peace out.
time for me. It's time for somebody else, and it's time for a
Yeah.
vacation. But I
Yeah.
agree too. I could see him on like a rebuilding committee and really kind of leading that. That really resonates, Susan.
Because the Ukrainian people, he's like the father of Ukraine now.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to want his energy. They're going to want his leadership. They trust him, and they're not going to want him to just disappear. They're going to really want him to be involved in some way. But he's going to need serious protection
Right.
because he's going to be out, in the people. And that's a little bit different situation that he has now.
Yeah, I agree with that, Susan.
So here's a question for us. Here's a good question from Tom. I'm not going to get too triggered. Don't worry. Will Nikki connect with Cheney for a duo to stop Trump, knowing the Republicans are done for 2024?
I don't see it.
I don't either. I don't think they like each other.
No. Like I said, Nikki Haley's too wishy-washy. She doesn't want to piss off the MAGAs, but she's really likes kind of going in the middle, getting the more moderate Republican and independent votes. But the MAGAs hate her. Regardless, she wants leadership in the Republican Party, so she's not going to go all the way across to help Liz Cheney, who I feel like will probably actually help Biden get reelected. Maybe not very vocally, but I see her supporting him. Nikki Haley won't do that.
Oh my God. What if I accidentally turn on my TV and see Cheney and Biden together? I will need medical help. Cheney she triggers me, y'all. She's not to be trusted. But anyway, I get it. Biden is a Scorpio. I get it. I don't understand Scorpios, but I give him all the credit. You do you, boo.
I don't see her actively campaigning for Biden, but I see her endorsing Biden.
Yeah, I do too.
Not Nikki Haley. I don't see her, Nikki Haley, supporting Biden.
I don't either. So do you see if let's just game that out for a minute. So, it's mayhem. We both seen it. Other people have seen it. It's not just me and Kevin. And honestly, we don't watch all the other psychics. So because it does mess with your head. So when you find out that pretty much everybody is on the same page, it really makes me feel better. But a lot of us have seen this chaos where Trump is not there and nobody else is there either, because he's created this whole sycophant party, like McConnell. All of them are just bowing down. So if he's not there, there isn't anybody to run. So would you think, I know we've talked about this before, but this is a new energy. This is after Super Tuesday. Things are starting to gel with the Republican Party. Do you think Cheney, if there's no other takers, do you think Cheney would throw her hat in the ring?
I don't think in 2024, although I do see her running for president, maybe 2028. I don't think being successful. I think she's considering it, and I think maybe she would consider it if really Trump was out of the picture. But I don't think she would do it while Trump is the nominee, because
Trump is out of the picture. Imagine that. Yeah.
But the thing with that, though, is too, I don't see the Republicans putting her in there.
Yeah, they don't like her.
So it would have to be like an independent run. And what we're talking, when's the convention? July or August? I don't think she'd have enough time to meet the deadlines to get on the ballots for the November election. I personally don't see it.
Well, what if Trump nuts out in,
Yeah.
in July or August and nobody can get on the ballot? I mean, this is a constitutional crisis in a sense. I don't
Yeah.
know if we have a game plan for this.
Whatever I see though happening, I don't see clearly who it's going to be. I did say I had a weird feeling about Tim Scott. I don't think that Republican voters would pick him or be really, happy to vote for him. Um, but I felt like maybe a VP pick. But um, whatever happens when Trump's out of the picture, I feel like the Republican Party is divided. I feel like the MAGAs are all pissed off. It's like civil war in the Republican Party.
It is.
Is that
It
they're
is.
all mad with what happened.
And you predicted the end of the Republican Party. I've predicted the end of the Republican Party. And just now, media is starting to say this might be the end of the Republican Party. We've been saying that for 5 months. For
Right.
real. Yeah, they could do a write-in. We've talked about them doing write-ins before. I would love that because Nikki, Niki, not gonna work. You got to spell everything exactly right.
Right. Well, can you
So
imagine too, the MAGAs, even if Trump wasn't alive, they would think it's a big conspiracy
they
theory
would
that we're
write him
hiding
in.
him, and they would still write him in, even if he
They
was
would write
no
him.
longer on the planet.
You're right. They would write him in.
I
I
feel like they
love that.
people trying to write Trump in is what I'm feeling.
They probably wouldn't even spell Trump right. Yeah, you're right. They would write him in, and I'm happy with that. I mean, God bless their hearts. I hope they do.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the people that kept saying who was still alive. Well, for a while there, they said Trump was really the president, and
They
Biden
think
was
JFK
like,
is still alive or something crazy
yeah,
like that.
it totally like the kind of thing that would earn you a trip to the psychiatrist and maybe
Right.
even the little rubber room. Um, Spelling is poop. Yeah, it's true. Oh my God. Yeah, it's true. Obama broke them. He broke them. He broke them somehow. So
Mm.
they just can't quite get over it. Will we see 45 flame out in public or will it be in private? So do you see this? I feel like right now, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I just saw this picture of him, blah, blah, blah. Have you guys been seeing those videos when he starts to
Mm.
say Venezuela, Venezuela?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's
He
becoming
talks
more and more
perfectly
clear.
fine. And then it's like, you know,
Yeah.
but will
I
that
so it is
do
in the
anything?
public already. I don't know if I feel like the major episode being and I don't know if I'm pulled to, like, the heart or, like, stroke, and I agree that there's definitely a bit of dementia there. I think even when he was president, but it's just getting worse and worse as he has so much stress on him.
I've
Um,
always seen heart and stroke too. Always.
but I do feel like
Always.
we're gonna see it get even more and more strange, where even I think most of the MAGAs are probably brainwashed, but a couple of them might be like, "What's going on here?" Um, but I don't think the main event will be public. I mean, I'm not picking that up anyway.
Do you feel like the media will pick it up? The key here is the media. Will the media finally
Oh, I
say
think so.
this is a problem?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the death knell. When Fox and CNN and
Mm.
ABC, CBS, when they pick it up, I think that's when it's way past the point of no return.
Well, I definitely see well, we're already seeing it on I watch MSNBC when I watch the news, occasionally CNN, but you're already seeing them starting to talk about it. I don't know how full blown I think Fox is going to acknowledge it, maybe a little bit. I think there'll be a little bit, but I don't think they like to deflect and not pay any attention to it, you know?
I just heard the fix is in. I just heard that. And so
Mm,
so if Fox got orders from whoever these people get orders from, and they said, yeah, the new candidate is XYZ, we're doing a hit job on Trump, starting tonight at 6 p.m. So if that was
interesting.
the case, because I heard the fix is in, who is the fix? They can't
Yeah.
just say the fix is in without telling me who the hell it is. Um, so that's how they would do it, right? That's how you could see them turn on Trump is if they had somebody to step in.
Mm.
How is
That's the
that going to
problem
work?
now. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a bloodbath when Trump's out of the picture. Everybody's going to want somebody different in the Republican Party. They'll probably try to put somebody that's more of a establishment person
Establishment.
in.
But
But
that's how they
no
avoid
matter
the
what they
bloodbath, is
will.
the fixes in.
Mm, yeah.
Maybe they
I don't
see
think
it
it's
now.
Nikki Haley, though. I don't see her as the nominee.
Haley, I don't see her being the fix. She's not the fix. I always see Youngkin, but I always see Youngkin saying no fix.
Not right now.
What about Thune?
Is he the one that's behind? Is he one of the leadership in the Senate?
Yeah, he is.
I actually felt like he might be the one that replaces McConnell,
Yes.
is what I was picking up. So I don't
Yes,
think
I
so.
agree. I think he wants to replace McConnell. I think he will likely, but you never know. The Republicans are not, they're like crazy, the crazy
Mhm.
town circus right now.
Maybe they
Um,
try to pull another Mike Johnson out of their hat, somebody that nobody
oh,
knows.
for sure. Yeah,
Somebody that
for
nobody
sure.
knows,
That they
maybe a
can
little bit more
control.
establishment. Yeah.
That they can control instead of John Thune. I don't think they can control.
Mm.
Maybe I'm wrong. How is John Thune with Trump? I mean, McConnell has never had a backbone. He's always been, I don't think he's a turtle. I think he's a lizard. I don't know. Anyway, maybe a snake.
Yeah.
Anyway, the fix is in. So the only other way around this kind of chaos, which is what we've all been seeing, is okay. So the Republican Party is starting to get an idea. Maybe they're watching. Hey, y'all, we're going to beat you in November. We're going anyway. So maybe they're getting an idea the fix is in, and they say, okay, we got to do something, right? We're going to depose, is what I'm hearing. Depose Trump, dethrone him, and then we're going to install this person, and we're going to do it by July. That's what I just heard. Is it a male or a female? It's not going to work, you guys. See, I'm over here arguing with them because I saw Cheney. Now, maybe that's just me because I get crazy around Cheney.
Oh, they would absolutely lose it if they put Cheney in there, but she's just not
Cinema.
popular with Republicans.
Cinema.
And you think cinema?
I think it's a long shot, and I think it's dumb, but they didn't ask my
That would
opinion.
be pretty dumb. We'll see. I think as we get closer, we'll see it. But like I said, it's nobody's happy. Everybody's all upset and in an uproar about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's exactly what we see. And
while we're
that's
seeing
what
the
we want.
circus, when we're seeing the circus of the Republican Party, which we've been seeing in the House, I think we'll see it in the Senate before November because I don't think McConnell will be around until November. So it's crazy in there. And then, they can't have a nominee and they're just trying to figure out what they're doing. Meanwhile, Biden's over here, like gaining all the momentum, the only serious person in the room. It's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic. I agree with you, you guys. It's going to be epic. It's Biden is on a rocket ship. He's taken off. He's got all the support. And this summer, he's going to have a great summer. He's going to have really
I
good
agree.
things happening for him. Things that just kind of fall into place for him this summer. It couldn't be better timing for Biden, honestly. And then, most of the stuff they passed a lot of that stuff is going to be happening next year. So next year is going to be good for Biden as well,
Yeah.
because a lot of that infrastructure is going to be hitting in 25, 26 in time for the midterms. So it's good, guys. It's not bad. There's no bad here. The only bad is the uncertainty, and that makes us all nervous.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I predicted the same exact thing, like a big sweep and momentum for Biden in the summer. Like all of the celebrities coming out, Obama, all the major Democratic figures coming out supporting him, people getting excited and energized. The Democrats are going to finally grow that backbone and really start playing fire with fire and really showing like this is how crazy the Republican Party is right now, and really working on the messaging, which I think is going to be effective. Somebody just said in the chat too. This is definitely going to play a role. Let me just find it. Michelle says the GOP has no money too. All the
Excellent
money's going to
point.
be going for Trump and his legal bills, and Laura Trump, I do think is going to get in there, and they're going to give all the money to Trump. But it's going to be great because it's not going to leave them any money for their Senate and House races. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, all the down ballot offices are
Mhm.
just going to be all of your local Republican offices are going to be screaming and
Yeah,
going to see for rent signs in their headquarters. I love it. Happy to see. Couldn't happen to better people.
it's going to be crazy. Get the popcorn ready, we say, right?
Yes.
Yes. And did you see that Cinema said that she wasn't running for reelection?
I saw it. I saw it. And I think the powers that be, it's like they see this train wreck coming and they're trying to figure out, well, if Cinema, we can park Cinema, they also park Joe Manchin, right? Joe Manchin, and those two, right? Let's put
Mm,
them over here. Joe Manchin was talking about going on no labels. So it seems like somebody in the Republican Party sees this train wreck coming and they're trying to maneuver some people into a better position to scoop up those votes. But
it's not going to
Trump has
happen.
done too good of a job of, brainwashing these people.
Mm,
And I think Biden has done too good of a job of helping our country. So the people that aren't brainwashed, they're not going to go to no labels.
right. I almost don't feel like it being a thing, but I think Manchin announced he would not run third party.
No, he did. He did announce that. Why? I
Mm.
don't know. Probably because he's going to be investigated.
Yeah, could be.
He's like third party that maybe no label said, we don't want you anymore. You're going to be bringing us down.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Susan.
Uh-huh.
Well, since the January 6th case has been delayed until the Supreme Court rules on the immunity, which they'll say that presidents don't have absolute immunity. Do you feel like in the meantime, do you feel like there's some indictments coming for those close to Trump in the January 6th? Because I feel like in the meantime, Jack Smith has a plan, and I've always said March is huge. Like I feel
Yeah.
like some indictments start to fly soon.
Yeah, I agree. No, I totally agree with you. I don't, Jack Smith is not sitting there waiting for anything.
Mhm.
He's moving, he's got cases moving forward. Um, it's interesting. The guides just reminded me. So I guess how whatever her name is, Ghislaine, spilled some beans today
Oh,
or
really?
something. And somebody said in the chat, but the heat is on, you guys. The heat is on.
Mm,
And I do see Jack Smith impaneling. The word they're using is impaneling a jury. Isn't that for like a grand jury, like impaneling a grand jury, which is like the first step to make sure that you have the right evidence to go into the final thing.
yeah,
Um,
but the
yeah, I
indictments.
definitely see it. That man is busy. And he's brilliant because this thing before the Supreme Court is so narrow. It's surgical. What the Supreme Court
Mm,
is ruling on is surgical. It doesn't have all of these ramifications that people think it does. So yeah, I think he's going to be quite busy. And also Alvin Bragg is up to something, right? Isn't there a case coming up with Alvin
yeah, at the
Bragg? Is
end of the
that the
month.
Stormy Daniels case?
Yeah, it's at the end of the month. I do feel like Trump will be charged with that. I feel like out of all the court cases, like it's not the most major,
It's
if
not
that
the
makes sense to you.
strongest,
I don't
but
feel
it's
jail time for him.
body blows. They're they're
Mhm.
they're they're punching him everywhere they can. They're not knocking him out. This is what the guy said 6 months ago. They're not going to KO him. I'm saying just put him out of his misery. Just
Mm.
knock him out. But no, instead they're like body blowing him. They're just beating the hell out of him. I saw it. I actually had compassion for Trump when I saw this like 6 months ago and this is what they're doing, right? Like everything hurts. E. Jean Carroll hurts. This Stormy thing is going to hurt. If nothing else, it's bad publicity. Thank
Yeah.
you, Firefly. Appreciate that. Um, it's
So
all
much
bad.
like the
It's just
plan is
all bad. It's going to wear him out and it's going to make his ticker work too hard.
yeah. Well, that's why he's continuing to spiral even more so than he normally does. Somebody said in the chat that Ghislaine is currently writing a memoir, so maybe that's where that is coming out, like maybe giving some of the names and the secrets that she knows.
Well, that'll fund her for a while.
Yeah.
And I was
Okay,
going
for
to
the
say,
commissary, is that what it is? In jail, all of your stuff is a commissary.
yeah, right. That's right. She'll have a good commissary. She'll be able to buy some Pop-Tarts or something. And the other thing, there's a little, I follow Lisa Rubin, she's on MSNBC a lot, but I follow her on Twitter. And she said there's a little tell that happened today. There were 2 prosecutors for Jack Smith that made an appearance in a case. And that in the Cannon case. And she says when there are 2 new prosecutors. She says when this happens, people that are court case watchers think that this means Jack Smith is getting ready to pull the rug out from under Cannon. He's getting ready to say, no, here's all my case. Here's all my documents. Here's all the things you've done wrong. I'm going over your head. I'm taking you off of this case. So do you feel, because I know we've both read on this, that we both thought independently of each other that Cannon was going to be removed from this case. Do you feel like she's going to be removed like in the summer sometime? Do you get that at all?
Yeah, like early summer, like June.
June? I was going to say July, but okay, I'll take June.
Yeah.
She could really, so do you feel like they're going to really remove her?
I see her being removed. I've always felt a man taking over for her. But in the meantime, everything that she's done improper, Jack Smith has been writing like a crap ton of notes and keeping everything documented. And he'll just go to the 11th Circuit and be like, I mean, clearly she's in over her head. She doesn't know what she's doing. Clearly she's got some bias here. Let's get her off this case. And I see them agreeing to that. It almost feels like maybe he takes it to the 11th Circuit before summertime, like maybe in May.
Yep.
She's removed June or July, something like that.
Yep. And I think they will. I think they're going to, I've always seen her removed. I've always seen it. Its timing is difficult, really, really difficult. Because, Jack Smith is over there playing 5D chess. He's got all his cases and he's, you just can't figure him out. You can't figure out exactly what he's doing. But I think this was a tell that he is beginning the process of it.
Yeah, I could totally see it.
Lisa Rubin is good. If you guys follow her, she is really good. She's sharp.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jack Smith is definitely the right one to have on the January 6th and the documents cases. Absolutely.
I think we're going to have, do you think we're going to have a statue to him? Seriously. In like 10 years?
I don't know if I see a statue, but I see him being very remembered very, very fondly for all the work that he did. I know some other people have said about him taking over as AG, because I do feel like Garland will be replaced in Biden's second term. And, between us, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
But I don't, or even I think somebody asked me the other day if he'd be put in the Supreme Court. I don't see that. That's not really Jack Smith's style. Like he likes doing things privately. He doesn't like all that spotlight and attention on him. So I don't see him. I think he's fine with doing what he's doing now, and rather than having such a high profile title like Attorney General or Supreme Court. I just don't see it.
He's a prosecutor at heart. He's like the cop that wants to be on the beat. He wants to be doing the work, not a manager or not in an executive level. He wants to be doing the work.
He likes doing his own thing too. He doesn't,
that's true too,
he doesn't want to lead all of these people. He just likes kind of that independence of being able to kind of go and investigate what he needs to do. Not answer down to like a whole bunch of people that work underneath of him. I don't see it.
Cece wants to know if you could use your pendulum to see if the 11th Circuit is seriously looking at Cannon. I think that needs to be worded differently because they don't have the case before them. So they're not.
I can't look at it anyway. Because maybe it's a sign my pendulum just broke. Oh no.
Your pendulum broke, really? Holy
I
cowabunga!
just
What does that
bought it.
mean?
I just bought it like a month ago too.
What does that mean? Is that
I
good or
don't know.
bad?
I see the 11th Circuit taking Cannon off the case. I have another pendulum. I'll ask with this. Hopefully this one doesn't break too. How do you want to word it?
Whatever you
Will
think.
they? Will they look at the case, or do you want me to do it right now? Are they looking at it right now?
Just how about will they? Because Jack has to put it before them.
Right.
Whoa.
I'm programming.
Okay, you're getting it started. Okay.
All right. Will the 11th Circuit Court take a serious look at Judge Eileen Cannon and remove her from the documents case? Getting a big yes.
Oh, I love it.
A clockwise circle is yes for me. Counterclockwise is no, and if it sways back and forth, it's not clear. But that's a big yes.
That's a big yes. Take that. All right. I love that. That's awesome. There's your answer, Cece. Now, so the other thing, and I was confused about this. So I followed the Senate Judiciary group on Twitter, and they said they had a video where they are nominating 4 new justices. I mean, do they just nominate justices to have in the wings? Is that what happens? I didn't understand. It sounded like something that was normal, but they're talking about nominating 4 new justices, and I got all excited thinking that, but there's a question here. Do you see Biden expanding the Supreme Court in general? Like maybe after he
it wouldn't happen before the election.
Yeah, right. I agree.
I definitely feel like there's energy and they're really seriously looking into it. But like I said, I feel a couple of them being replaced because some of them leaving. Like I've always felt Thomas out. A couple more. What do you feel? I feel like they might. I feel like they might add like 2.
I feel like they have to. I feel like there's going to be so much pressure on them to do it. First of all, the Supreme Court doesn't have enough justices to hear all of the district courts cases. There's more district courts than there are Supreme Court justices. That's why we have that shadow docket. You know what I mean? Like it's broken. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Let's fix it. Let's make it right. The problem is Biden, I guess, assembled a group to look at it. I didn't even realize this, but he assembled a group and they said, no, they didn't think in his first term that he should expand the Supreme Court. But I think that's going to change in 25 because we've been through hell and back. And Biden is so fair. He'll throw some, my God, would he put Garland on there? Oh, for the love of God.
I hope not.
I think he might.
I can see him maybe thinking about it though too.
Oh, Jesus H. Well, anyway, that's Biden. That's the Democrats. I don't understand.
I do feel like, yes, I feel like there's 3 of them that will be replaced. He's already
from
replaced,
this court?
From the current court, yes. And he's already replaced 1 with Ketanji Brown. So there's 2 more coming in that I think he'll add. The magician. So yes, that's a yes card. But I almost feel like one of them is taken out. I almost feel like it's Thomas, this ruthless King of Swords being backstabbed and defeated. But yeah, but I see them really going in and making a lot of changes in Congress and in the court, especially in regards to like they can't take outside money like they've done and not disclose it. If they're impartial, they have to recuse themselves. I see them putting a lot of safeguards and rules and regulations in place.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. It's gonna get cleaned up, you guys. It really is, because What is their approval rating? Like 18%? I mean,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court approval rating is so low right now. So I think that's very true. I think we're going to get rid of Thomas. I don't know, by hook or crook, and Alito is right behind him, I think. And I've never really seen Coney Barrett on the court for her whole lifespan or whatever it is, right? Like I've never seen her be on there for decades, never, for whatever reason.
I definitely feel Thomas, and I agree with you. I don't feel like Coney Barrett or even Kavanaugh have they're there until they retire. But I also feel like Roberts is maybe looking for a way out too.
I agree. I'm telling you guys, look, all I can say is whenever I think all of this could never happen or how could this happen, all you got to think of is Tucker Carlson on Friday night saying, "See y'all Monday. Bye, sucker." No, he did not. So, he was out over the weekend. They didn't even tell him. They were like, by the way, don't show up for work on Monday. So if that can happen to Tucker Carlson, who is bringing in millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, if that can happen to Tucker Carlson, then yes, Supreme Court like Roberts or Thomas or Alito or Kavanaugh, they can go. Believe me, it can happen.
Yeah. And I almost feel like Thomas may be out before.
Thomas is first, I think.
Yeah, I think he's first. Maybe it happens. I feel like it may happen before the election or just slightly after.
But I'm telling you, something's up with Alito. I'm telling you right now.
We want to retire.
Got Alito strong.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I saw a report that Thomas and Alito are trying to stay in there. They would like to retire, but they're hoping that Trump gets back in so that they're not replaced by a liberal.
Yeah, I agree. But that's fine. Y'all keep on wishing. Not gonna happen.
Let's manifest him out.
And I think Alito's gonna be investigated. I think he might want to retire, but I think he's going to be investigated.
I could definitely see it.
And somebody wants to know, will Ginny Thomas go to jail? I don't think so. What do you get?
No, I don't see jail time. They're going to investigate her. I almost feel like that's how they get Thomas out. I don't feel like Thomas has. I always pick up on like his health not being very good. I do Reiki healing, so I kind of go throughout the energetic body. It's like that. The gut is like there's like a black, like brownish, nasty energy coming out of the gut or pancreas or something like that. Doesn't feel very good to me at all. So it's either health, but I do feel like she may give the information that she has and make some kind of deal, and he leaves.
I agree. I have said those exact same words. I agree. It's just that she's not the kind of person who rolls over very quickly or easily. He isn't either. So they've got that McConnell thing. They're just going to buckle down. You can't move them. But I do think it's going to be, I think if Jack Smith is on the other end of the phone, I think you're going to reconsider your options. I think Jack Smith is going to scare the living daylights right out of him. And they're going to say, yeah, we're out. This is not a man that we want to do battle with, right? That's what I think.
But I don't feel good for Ginny Thomas because it feels like after everything's all said and done, it's just like her world, her life that she knew it is completely over. But I don't feel jail.
I think she's not well either. Yeah. But I think you're right.
We all know she's not all there in the head. So.
Yeah, she's definitely not right in the head. But yeah, I think, it's a lot like, they're just showing me Ivanka. It's a lot like Ivanka. All of her social status is going to be gone. It's gone. Nobody's going to want to do business with you. All those, whatever brunches. No, you're not invited. You're not in the cool kids club anymore. You're out.
It's like a major reality check. She feels so entitled is the energy that I pick up from her. Yes. She's just so entitled. She doesn't care about anybody else but herself. And it's like, she's got a rude awakening happening because I feel like it's like a tower moment for her. like I said,
Yeah.
I don't feel good about Clarence Thomas' health long term. I don't.
No, I don't either. Thank you, Chili Dog. Appreciate you. I don't either. And so
Mm.
how about MAGA Mike? How's he doing? Patricia wants
I
to
feel like
know.
he's going to be out soon. I was picking up March, April, May. It feels like it's within the next. Could happen even this month. I feel like April. I think.
Do you think a Republican is going to take over that spot immediately? I mean, or right afterwards?
It's
Because
going to
I
be
see
another
Jeffries,
show.
but I don't know if he's going to be right after Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show in the House. It's going to be. It's going to be even worse than the last time. It's like they don't have anybody that they can vote in there. That's what I'm feeling. There's nobody in there that can get enough votes. And so eventually, I feel like a couple of the um, more moderate Republicans are like, I've had enough with this crazy. Let's go talk to Democrats. We'll make a deal with them. Get somebody to lead. It's gonna be a madhouse, I feel like.
It's going to be a madhouse. Which is mirrors the chaos of the whole Republican Party.
Mm,
It's in the House. You're saying it's going to erupt in the Senate, and we all see it erupting on the presidential race platform. So the whole Republican Party is just going to be, like you're saying, a shite show.
yeah.
Hi-fi, Alex. Thank you. What's your question? Will Congress be able to finally pass the aid package for Ukraine soon? Did that today? I'm just catching up, guys. So they
Yeah.
passed the bill today to fund us until September, and then I saw that guy Maxwell Frost, who's a young
Hmm.
uh,
He's a
guy from
congressman.
Florida, and
Yeah.
he said I couldn't vote for it because they rolled back gun background checks for VA veterans who the VA has
Oh
said
wow.
the VA said these veterans are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, should not have a gun, but yet that was in the bill. And so he said, I support my fellow House members. They did what they had to do, but I couldn't do it. So again, we keep making deals with the devil. And I'm pretty sure the reason it passed is because Ukraine money wasn't in there, right? I'm sure Ukraine money was not in there.
So they didn't do another CR. They didn't just extend it. They actually passed part of the budget.
I understand it was a huge whopping $400 billion budget. It was a big deal.
Uh huh.
You guys let me
Oh,
know in
good.
the chat because I don't have enough time to watch this today. But and I don't think they included Ukraine funding. But I want to say about that is this, because my spirit guides will, like, I don't watch much news. So if something
Hmm.
pops up in front of me and it has energy, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's a message. So I saw this. Well, of course, Ukraine is trying to get weapons and money from any place they can
Yeah.
because the United States is hamstrung. So now that what I saw was not only Ukraine is making weapons in Ukraine, but also these countries around Europe are making weapons now because that money did come to the United States. The United States made weapons here and we sold them to Ukraine.
Right.
That's why McConnell was always saying, this is a win-win for America, you guys. Why are you voting this down? This brings us money to our coffers. If we make money off of it. And so anyway, what I like about this is that really what's happening is Europe is getting stronger and stronger and stronger because now Europe's going to have their own weapons manufacturers
Yeah.
born of this hamstring of the United States. So this is going to NATO's getting stronger, Europe is getting stronger. It's having all the wrong effects that Russia wanted it to have.
Mm. Yeah, I agree, Susan. I when Navalny was when he passed, I found it very interesting. Like the day before, like the Republicans got a heads up because they were like just out of nowhere, they just decided to go on a vacation for 2 weeks. So I
I
think we
know.
know
Right.
who a lot of the Republicans are getting their orders from. But when that happened, I did feel like it was because of you know that being planned. But I got a strong message too that the aid was going to be put through. I don't think Johnson will bring it on the floor for a vote, but I don't remember what the maneuver
Oh
that they
yeah,
can do to kind of bring it up through the committees to kind of
they
put
go
it on the
around him.
floor. There's a go around, and I feel like they're
They
going to
go
do
around.
that.
Yeah, there's a go around. I agree too. I think Ukraine is going to get this money, but in the meantime, this is totally not what Putin had in mind.
Yeah.
Europe is getting stronger. Everybody understands. Everybody's on the same page now. I don't think they were before when the United States was leading the charge. I think they were happy for that to happen. But now the United States is out of commission for a minute. Everybody's like, wow, we need to really get it together because Russia's going to be marching through our country, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, discharge resolution. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
They'll get it
I
through.
think it's possible. I think they're going to go around Moses Mike because this is making the United States money. I mean, so at what point? So this is a really good. This is where I was supposed to go with this. At what
Yeah.
point does the industrial military complex, who makes a lot of money,
Mm.
at what point do they say Johnson is out? We need this. You hurt in our pocketbook. Now
Hmm.
this money is going to go to some other country to be made. We don't want that. You're against our money, and that's what they care about. So, do you think that that could come back to bite Johnson?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't know if I see that's the reason why they get him out. It feels like my guides told me clearly when he got in there, the same thing that happened to Kevin McCarthy would
It's going to happen
happen
to him.
to him. You're going to have the extreme MAGA people, MTG, all of them getting
Oh,
upset about these CRs and the budget, and if Ukraine aid did go through, that they would throw a fit. Um, but I see them being responsible for taking them out.
that is funny. Okay, well, that makes sense. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Um,
Mhm.
we
Right.
we did talk about it, Michelle. We did talk about Zelensky and the missile that got 150 meters of him. It actually also got within 150 meters of the Greek prime minister, who was also in the
Mm.
same motorcade. So, there's talk about NATO getting involved and whatnot. Um, Zelensky is safe right now. I can't 100% guarantee anything, right? But I do feel that he's safe.
Yeah.
We did talk about that in the very beginning of this broadcast.
How do you feel like the State of the Union's gonna go tomorrow night?
Oh, that's such a great question. I
I feel
feel
like
like
it's gonna
that's
go
a great
well.
question. What?
Mhm. I said I feel like it's gonna go well. I feel like there's gonna be a moment where, they get their blimp, maybe Biden misspeaks a little bit, any kind of talking point there, but I feel like he's going to come through really strong.
Yeah.
We're going to see him really standing up for the Palestinians and the crisis going on in Gaza. Um, so I feel like him coming out against Israel a little bit. I definitely feel a lot of maybe talks about executive actions on the border. Um, he's going to come in really strong. I think it's going to be really well received.
I think so
Like
too. So
he's
when you
done
go
playing
into
games.
his energy is really strong in his chest. Like he's
Mhm.
speaking from his heart, but he's really oh man, he's really strong. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I
He's
agree.
he's done playing the games of the Republicans and all that. He's had enough. Dark Brandon's full on Dark Brandon.
You're right. And I think he's going to say some things
Oh, I
that
do
the
too.
Republicans are going to be like, "Oh, that's not right." I mean, I swear to God, if I was in Congress, I would be arrested, basically.
I do feel like you'll probably have another MTG moment where she's, like, cackling at him and booing him. I'm sure that will come up.
They asked one of them if those so apparently they had a closed session where they said we all need to be more respectful, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But I don't see her being respectful because look right here. Uh did you hear MGT say to the lady to go F off?
Oh,
She told a
it doesn't
journalist,
surprise me.
go F yourself or something. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be able to restrain herself unless they
No.
like duct tape her.
Give her a
Um,
muzzle.
Give her a muzzle, put her in some zip tie handcuffs, but then she'd probably get turned on and think something else was going on. I don't know. We don't want all that on there. Robin Martins, how are you doing? Thank you for that. What do you guys see the future of the Arab nations? Will they evolve for the better? I do see that. I think they're going to come together over this whole Palestine Israel thing. They understand they have that this is their time to lead. You see Jordan being more involved as well, Qatar being involved, Egypt being involved. I think Saudi Arabia. I think what I'm getting right now too is these Middle East countries need to pull together because everybody else is pulling together because of the Russia attack. So all of Europe is pulling together. And I think the Arab states are going to pull together for that reason. They need their own, really tight, supportive group. And the Palestinians have kind of been like the redheaded stepchild. It's like somebody needs to help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't just let Hamas go in there and become some kind of rogue government that's not supported. You guys need to step up and help them, especially now because they have nothing. I've always seen a two-state solution from the very beginning of this, and I see Palestine being on the top and Israel being on the bottom. I see that country split in two. In the middle is a DMZ zone, a demilitarized zone like North Korea, and it is only one border. So Palestine is got, safe borders. Israel's got safe borders. Both countries can breathe. Both countries can feel safe. This is what we need. We need everybody to feel safe, right? And everybody needs their own space with one border to manage, not little pockets. That doesn't work. What do you get?
Well, I would just say with that though too, the only shame in that is whoever gets Gaza, it's all going to be ruins and rubble. So it would be completely rebuilding. I do feel like there's an effort towards coming together, and I've said too, and I do feel this way, not happening tomorrow or like in the next year, or maybe in the next couple years. I kind of feel like what's going on in Russia, which is going to be like a revolution, kind of revolting against the dictator government. I see that happening in Iran as well.
Yes.
It might be like about 5 years out. It's a couple years out, but I do see them slowly kind of coming together. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I agree with you, Susan.
Thank you, June. It's crazy when you think about Iran and you think about these women wearing such cute, clothes and going to university. And then literally overnight, their whole lives changed like a blink of an eye. And that's a real cautionary tale for a lot of countries that I think we should be paying attention to.
Yeah,
it can happen overnight. It can happen overnight. So not here because we're so decentralized. We have states, we're a republic. We have decentralized within our states. We've got the judiciary, the presidential, the Congress. We're so that's what helped us with Jan 6, in my opinion. We were so decentralized. Those states that had the fake electors, Georgia said no, right? States literally stood up and said, no, we're going to do the right thing. That's what saved our butt, is that we're so decentralized, our government style is.
Well, and I think that's what really Trump is, that agent of change too, so that we make those necessary regulations and rules to make sure that somebody like Trump will never be president again. And I see that happening like 2026.
2026, like a resolution, like some sort of.
It's going to be rebuilding our whole democracy. Like I said, I see it in the courts. I see it in the House and Senate. Even at some point, I think term limits coming in for the Supreme Court. They're going to put in the guardrails, and like I said, that's really what Trump, his purpose was, to kind of show some of the flaws in our democracy so that we can make it stronger and not allow somebody like him in the White House again.
Yeah, we really will. We really will. And that's why we're going to have Congress. We're going to have the Senate. We're going to have the House. We're going to have the presidency. And then we're going to get these things done. Kathy, I'm sorry if I misspoke about Iranian women not going to university. I think it would be fair to say that they don't have the same rights they had in the 70s. I would say, I would think it would be fair to say that, though. Nikki did withdraw Anya. We did talk about that earlier. We talked about that. She's lying in wait. Yeah. Let's see. There are some really good questions here. Somebody wants to know if we see Jamie Raskin becoming a SCOTUS,
Oh, I
which
think
is
he
a
would be
Supreme Court
excellent.
judge. What's that?
So I think he would be excellent in that.
Do you see him
I
getting
kind
it?
of feel like some energy around it. I don't know if he actually gets that though. I could see it though. I almost feel like he's gonna stay in the house where is where he's more needed, like in that leadership role. But I do feel like there's talks about it. What do you pick up, Susan? Do you think he'll
I agree. No, I see it too, but then I saw uh, the hullabaloo of they it would be easier to get somebody approved, voted through if they were
Mm,
outside of that governing body, because
yeah,
that governing body is so political, and you know what I mean, and you're my enemy and all that BS. So I feel like they're probably going to bring people outside of that, um from the ivory halls, you know what I mean?
mm.
Somebody that's just not in politics that much. Because
That's
I guess you could
interesting.
also say because he's in politics that he wouldn't be impartial.
Yeah. I just said that I on my show with Mel last week. I feel like the Supreme Court getting back to a place where it's not partisan. It's going to be more middle of the road. I don't even think they're really going to be focusing on labels conservative. It's going to be all they're going to try to get politics out of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I
So I
agree
could
with you.
agree with that. Yeah, but I think Jamie Raskin's brilliant. Well, yesterday too in the Senate primary in California, um, it's going to be Adam Schiff as the next senator in
Yes.
California.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Katie Porter will be a senator at some point too. Maybe
She's
it's
not
not quite her
done.
time.
She's not
Oh,
done. I think she might
yeah.
go to a think tank for a minute. She might go to some I don't know. She's gonna be used. She'll be
Mm.
kind of parked somewhere until she can get back into the flow of the politics. She's
But I
not
feel
done.
like the legacy for her, I see her going to the Senate. But I actually feel like since she's not able to run for Congress, I almost feel like Biden might have a plan for her. I don't know if
It's
it's a
true too.
cabinet, but it's some kind of something in his administration, I feel like.
Education, Secretary of Education,
Education,
something
I think,
just
yeah.
about education.
Mhm.
Um, I definitely think in January after he wins, he's going to be kind of freshening up his cabinet. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean that people haven't done a good job. It means that this is a hard job. And he's going to be bringing people in to positions. He's going to be moving people around, bringing in new people. So yeah, definitely he might do that.
yeah, I could totally see it. I feel like it's something in the administration. Education feels really good to me, Susan.
It seems like I don't know why. That's just what came to me. Um,
Mm,
So Laurie wants to know, will 45 ask Jared for money he owes for overvaluing his property? If Jared doesn't give him the money, will he throw Jared under the bus for $2 billion he got from Saudi Arabia? Um,
he's asking Jared. I think he just had a meeting with, was
that's
it
the
Elon
question
Musk?
we need to ask. That's the question we need to ask. I think Alon has been there twice. Victor Orban, the
Yeah,
dictator, has been there or is
he's
going there this
trying.
weekend. Uh, Somebody else visited there. That's the question is, and this is a question I asked when I was on with Jen Lynn and Johnny of Tarot's Apprentice.
Interesting,
Uh,
yeah.
somebody could somebody could front the money for a bond. He could get a bond company to give him whatever the minimum is. Um,
Mm,
he just needs somebody to front him the money. So do you see somebody fronting him the money for this bond? Because it's like tomorrow or Monday. There's
yeah.
some like it's like now.
I I do feel like he's gonna get some help with it, but I almost feel like it's gonna backfire epically because he's being so watched with who he's getting money from. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like they're like all the intel's like right outside of Mar-a-Lago, like with listening in to the
Yeah, yeah,
conversations.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So he's being bugged. Yeah. He's gonna. I do feel like they might be. He might be able to get some money. I don't see it coming from Jared though. I don't think Elon Musk is going to give him money. Um,
But could they funnel money to him from Saudi Arabia?
I was picking up Saudi Arabia too, but not from Jared.
Yeah. The money comes from Saudi Arabia, but it comes through Jared, or it comes through Elon Musk or Victor Orban or whoever the heck. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I think you're right. Like, so if he shows up with like a truck, a U-Haul truck full of cash, it's like, here you go. People are going to want to know where this came from. And then if it's from Orban or however you say his name, you're right. I think this is going to backfire. And I think that the word I heard is spectacularly. It's going to backfire spectacularly. And that's going to there's going to be blowback on whomever helped that happen, whoever that person was.
Yep, 100%. But
So it's not really going to help him in the end.
Talking
They
about
might even
Jared,
freeze
though,
that money. They might even freeze it. They might
Freeze
even
it?
freeze that money
I can
because
see
it's
that.
like money laundering. There's like something, and the DOJ says, no, we're freezing this money. Can you imagine? I mean, that might kill him right there.
Right.
To
Yeah,
have
I
all
could
that
definitely
money
see
and then
something
have the
like that
government say,
frozen.
we're freezing it.
Mm.
I would have to
Well,
go out and get some confetti cannons.
I always feel him having to sell some of everything Trump owns
Yes,
is going to be
yes,
liquidated.
yes, yes. And he doesn't
Can I?
own what we think he does. Like that building, he only owns part of the building. He doesn't own the whole thing. He doesn't own everything that everybody thinks he does.
Yeah. So he's not going to get that much for it. Not enough to cover all of his debt.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Those golf court, we all know he overvalued everything. You know what I mean? Like Mar-a-Lago, you know what I mean? Like that, he overvalued that, and it's got restrictions on how it can be developed, so it's not worth as much as it could be. And he bought it with those restrictions, so that limits what it could be sold for. He's in a world of hurt, you guys. I've always seen, and I think probably you too have, Kevin, that he's going to lose everything. Like he's going to lose the golf courses, the everything, all of his assets gone. Now, whether it's like next week or in 2 or 3 months, I'm not sure, because there's always he could always appeal whatever, I guess, decision came down.
Well, and I think it might be kind of gradual too. So maybe they unfreeze that money, but I do see all of the properties, being liquidated. But I also feel like the IRS is coming after him too. So I think that might be where it's from.
Yes. That's the worst. I think that's the worst right there. So that's going to be, you guys, it's the body blows. It's what the guides always said. No one is KOing him. They're just body blowing him. The hits keep coming. And they don't stop. And so you can't withstand that. Who can withstand that? Right. He's not going to withstand that. And I've always seen his boys. I don't know where. Sometimes I see Ivanka doing jail time, truly. Sometimes I see Jared doing jail time. I see the boys escaping, so to speak, to like Turkmenistan, to one of the Stan countries, and where they take, like $100,000, which would be worth like millions of dollars there, and they open up a casino, or they do, they kind of recreate their lives in this crazy place.
Interesting. I've always felt Junior getting some jail time personally. But
I think Junior's going to hold the bag. I think they're going to make him.
He'll be the scapegoat.
He's going to be the scapegoat. Yep.
But I was going to say too, and I got a very strong hit when I did my 2024 predictions. I got like this summer, like August, I feel Jared's going to be arrested.
Yes.
For the Saudi Arabia and having the money. It feels like it's August though. It's something big happening with him in August.
Something big happening in August.
He
can't escape it either. He can't run away.
Yeah.
They
already know. They already know.
Yeah. Yeah, they already know. He's dead to rights. They have him like dead to rights. It's just a matter of everything lining up, like getting the witnesses and the golly. Did you just say because of Saudi Arabia? Did you just say that because it was the
Mhm.
two? Because that's what I just got. Okay, like
Mhm.
yes, you're right. It goes back to Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Wow,
It's going to be huge.
that is going to be big. See, these are going to be blockbusters. When you have other countries involved, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal.
Somebody was talking about, and I just read on this on my show yesterday about if Biden would give intel clearance to Trump now that
Yeah.
he's a
No,
nomination. And I heard absolutely not.
no.
They will not. So I don't want anybody to worry about that.
No, and it's not a law. He doesn't have to. It's really a custom. And I don't
Well,
see him doing that.
yeah, I mean, Trump wouldn't give Biden security
Exactly.
intel. I mean, um,
Exactly.
but no, when I read on it, I kept on hearing him at ear, no, no, no. Like, 'cause he's such a risk. They know that he cannot have it.
No, he cannot have it
He's able to
unless,
sell it.
like, unless you take like a secret document and you say, something crazy in it, and then you give it to him, and then you can trace where it goes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
like they could set him up. They could set him up. I don't think they will, but they could. Um, no, he's not going to have any. We don't have to worry about that. Truly, we don't have to worry about it. And
right.
this is a good question about Carrie Lake because now Carrie Lake is running in the Senate. Do you see her winning in the Senate?
No,
I don't either.
it's going to be,
Flame out, actually. Flame out.
yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting too, now that cinema's out. Um, was it Ruben Gallego? I
Yeah,
see him winning.
he's going to win. Yeah, I agree with you.
And we'll actually have
Thank
a
you,
real
Scotty.
Democrat in that seat and not
A
not bought and
fake.
paid for by the Republican Party.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Tatty, probably Tatty Jim. Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. Oh my God, what is all this? Okay, so Dale, thank you. If I've missed you, I apologize. What do you have to say here, Dale? How many of these Trump victories will we have to endure? He keeps winning decisions, but I'm holding out hope the Republicans need to go. Um,
What victories is he winning?
well,
I would
because
love
the
to
media,
know.
the media is saying he had a big win with Super Tuesday. It's like frustrating as
Whatever.
all get out. Um, I think if you open that hood up and look under the hood, you're going to find that he didn't. A lot of people aren't voting. The voter turnout is low for
Yeah.
him. How many victories? I mean, this is why the guides said there's 100 archers, and 95 missed because they were trying to prepare you guys. There are going to be some losses. We are going to have some things that feel like a defeat, but and we have 5 wins. The problem is we're not paying attention to the wins. I just
Mm.
don't see him having a lot of victories particularly.
That
Do you?
that's what I was gonna say. Like, there's maybe he's got well, if you talk about the court cases, the Colorado decision, I said all along, I did not feel like them doing that, and I feel like it's almost better. You're really opening up a can of worms if you take Trump off the ballot and say that he's not eligible, because then you're gonna have all these red southern states saying, "Oh, well, we're taking off Biden." It would
Yeah,
just open up an unnecessary can of worms. I'm not saying I agree with that
yeah,
decision, but whatever. Let's defeat Trump by voting him out forever. I
yeah,
feel like that's almost the better way to do it. Um,
yeah.
he's got a bit of a delay from the Supreme Court with presidential immunity, but I wouldn't call that a victory.
I wouldn't call it a victory. I agree with you about the Colorado thing. I did a video and I said this is not going to work. They're not going to take him off the ballot. And everybody freaked out on me. And the guide said exactly what you just said. And what you said is exactly what the opinion was.
Mm,
This is a slippery slope. And so anyway, I don't agree with it either. But that we knew that was going to happen. If you watched us for a long time, we told you that was going to happen. It doesn't make it any easier it doesn't make it any better, but that's a small thing. Listen, and he may, I feel like I want to say this, like, what if he wins by by default. Like let's say Fonnie Willis gets thrown off the case. Let's say that Cannon doesn't get thrown off the case. Let's say the Cannon case doesn't go through. Let's say the Fonnie case doesn't go through. Jack Smith's case is going to go through. Not only that, E. Jean Carroll has eviscerated him. E. Jean Carroll has taken his money, you guys. Are you kidding? He's already dead. He's already been eviscerated by her. So, you know what I mean? Like, this man is already going down. If something happens to one of those cases, he's still going down. Do not worry. Do not panic. It's okay.
He's in a downward spiral is what I'm feeling. So even if maybe he gets a victory here or there, if you want to call it that, I don't see it that way. But he's just spiraling down. He's gonna fizzle out. I mean, I've never felt jail for him. I don't think you have either, Susan.
No, I've never felt jail
But
for him.
I think the health is going to take him out beforehand. But it's going to be that downward spiral before he gets there. But
he disappears. Either he's in the rubber room or he's crossed over. And I do think he will pay her because he has to pay her, you guys. This is different. This is not him screwing over the plumber trying to dig out the secret documents out of the toilet. This is not that. This court can liquidate his properties, period, end of story. They have him dead to rights. I'm not kidding you guys. He either comes up with some money from Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, Elon, whoever. He either comes up with some money. We already just talked about what might happen there. Or Tish James starts taking his properties. It's that simple. He will pay her. He absolutely will pay her. Yeah. And it's going to be the end of him. So everything else is icing on the cake.
Can I pull up a comment, Susan?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Of course.
I just want to pull this up. We don't have to do a big reading on it. Deb says, don't underestimate Alvin Bragg in the election fraud case. But I just also want everybody to kind of go in. He will be found guilty on that, but I don't see him getting jail time or it gets delayed because he appeals it. I feel like he's charged, but like the justice that we're looking for, we're not going to get with that case.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
I mean, the truth of the matter is we might not get justice. I mean, that might be the thing that feels the worst, is because if he crosses over, well, we didn't get to take this man through a court of law and be judged by his peers and then convicted so that we can put the final nail in this, right? Like we can show other wannabe dictators, this is what's going to happen to you. So I do feel like we could get robbed of our justice because he's going to cross over, or he's going to be found mentally unfit to stand trial. And that, don't underestimate him, that is something he would do. He would do that. That is one of his 700 plan Bs right there. He can tell everybody, I'm an ex-president. Just put me in Mar-a-Lago. I'm not well. Well, if you do that, if you put him under house arrest in Mar-a-Lago, he's going to have submarines pulling up on the beach with Russian hookers and McDonald's, and it's going to go back out with secret documents that he's got stored. I mean, that can't happen, in my opinion. He cannot be under house arrest. He needs to be in Gitmo. He needs to be in a completely separate facility with no communications.
Yep.
And that's the two things I've ever seen. Either he's crossed over or he's in this Gitmo kind of very secure. That's what I've always seen. Is that what you see too?
Yep, always. But I think it's going to be the health that takes him out.
I do too. I think we're not going to get our justice. That's what's going to piss me off. It's probably going to piss you off too.
Well, right. I have seen it though too. It feels more like where the energy is now, like the health is going to take him out. But I had seen a couple of years ago, like him being like in a white room. Like, I don't feel like it reminded me of like a medical facility.
Yes, I saw that too. Yes.
But I would just say with that too, maybe it's not the justice that we think he deserves or that he should get, but he will get his karma one way or another. Maybe it's not jail time, but ultimately, like I said, at the end of the day, Trump's purpose is to be that agent of change so that we can bring in these safeguards for our democracy, so that we can really put those rules and regulations and get the Constitution up to date. So it's going to all be good in the end.
He's helping us. He's showing us that things that we thought were laws were customs or,
Yeah.
traditions. They're not laws. He showed us, and along with Bannon, along with Stone, along with Flynn, and Barr, have shown us how and honestly, the 2A people, the Second Amendment people who think AR-15s are muskets, right? So now we realize, wow, this living document needs to be updated to the 2024s and beyond. Now we know we got a big face of it. We got a big, we got a face full of it. Now we know we can do that. And that's what Kevin has been saying is we're going to do that. The Congress is going to be Democratic and we're going to get in there. We're going to do these things. And we can end this pretty soon. We've been going for an hour and a half. How are you feeling about him running these days, Kevin? How does that feel to you these days?
I know others have said that. I feel like it's his last resort plan, but I feel like he's being too watched to be able to do it.
I think so too.
But it's definitely a plan. I think. I don't feel Russia. It would be Saudi Arabia if he went anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going to be Russia. He knows.
We don't want him.
Yeah, they don't want him either. Yeah, I think it'd be Saudi Arabia. I think he might. I wouldn't put it past him. It's like he's got a lot of plan Bs. He really does. He's a very strategic person. You don't get to where he is without being ruthless, without being strategic, without, knowing your enemy and understanding how to, maneuver around them and through them. He understands what's coming at him. And he's got plans on top of plans. So I wouldn't put it past him, but I agree with you. I don't think he's going to get far. He's got plants, like you said earlier, like spies. I think he's got plants in Mar-a-Lago, the cook, the guy that does the pool or whatever. Who knows? Some of those women that are there might be working for Jack Smith. We don't know.
Right. I do feel eyes watching him. But I feel like the health is going to take him out before he can.
I do too. I really do. Well, I know you feel like Secret Service would help him, but you have to remember that's why he has his own security, because Biden went in and really started cleaning out Secret Service. So Trump has a lot of it. He actually hired some of the Secret Service to get to leave the Secret Service and to work for him. So yeah, I don't think Secret Service, if there is a Secret Service person who's on the hook with this, they would be captured too. I just don't see him pulling it off. I see him trying it, but I don't see him being successful.
Yeah, he would. The only way that he would actually, I think, flee to Saudi Arabia is if he lost the election, if he made it that far to November. He would probably try to run after that, but I don't even think he'll be around by then.
I just don't see him. And here's another thing. Do you see him making it alive or, sentient through his first criminal trial, like all the way to the end of his first criminal trial, which I think is going to happen before the election?
Well, are you talking about the Bragg case? Or are you talking about like
any criminal trial? Criminal trial.
I almost feel like he'll be. I mean, he is definitely declining, and we're going to see it continue to kind of spiral out of control. I think he'll get through the Bragg trial, but I still feel like the January 6th trial is going to happen before the election. Still,
I do too. I don't think he'll make it to the end of it.
No,
I just don't see him getting, being alive and getting like convicted and sentenced. I can't get him to that place. When I go down his timeline, I can't get him to that place. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm robbed of my justice, really.
Well, it's either like literally he passes, or he has a stroke, or like he uses the dementia as an excuse to get out of any kind of jail time.
That's
Like,
right.
I'm not competent to stand trial is kind of like
That's
the
right.
thing I'm feeling
That's
with that.
exactly right.
So,
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And it's just about when does all that come down? When does all that happen, right?
mm,
So that's the thing that's hard to know. Um,
it feels like it's coming soon, though. I feel like it's either spring or summer.
yeah, for sure. I mean, way before the election, like before even September, maybe.
Yep, I
You
feel
know
the
what I
same
mean?
way. It's
Like
like it's
August
maybe
is a big month for me. Like I feel like August might be some kind of big,
yeah. I feel like it
wow.
could happen between May and August. I both feel very significant for Trump.
And that's why we say chaos. That's why
Mhm.
we don't see a Republican leader uh, taking the mantle of the presidential candidate because Trump
Yep,
is AWOL. He's gone, whatever that means. He's not able to
right.
do that. And now there's a vacuum, and everybody's trying to figure out who's going to get in, who's going to get that power quotient, who's going to get the power.
And the MAGAs think that Trump's still alive, so they're just gonna write in Trump.
I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting. It's so true. It is so true. You're right. They will write in Trump, and it'll be another chapter in this really amazing history book that that 3 generations from now are going to be like, how did those people put up with this? How did those
Right.
people not do more? Why didn't they? I feel terrible. I'm like, I'm that person, but it's when you're in it, you realize you're one person, and the system is rigged against you.
Mhm.
I no, I don't. Will he become a martyr? I don't think so. I mean, a martyr to cultist, maybe, but
Right.
not really a martyr. Not really a martyr, I don't think.
History
Do you
will
think
not
so?
look favorably on Trump and his presidency or everything. They will talk about him being the worst president and how really we almost lost our democracy because of him. You'll have there'll be some crazy MAGAs that think that he's the second coming of Christ, saying he's a martyr, but the overwhelming majority of people in the history books will not tell a kind tale
Oh my
for
god.
Trump.
Do you know what I just saw while you were talking? I just saw some group, maybe it's Don Jr., I don't know,
Mm,
created an AI hologram of Trump and putting it in a White House type situation, and then having all the MAGA people send money.
oh, geez.
They'll grift off to him after he's dead with new technology. You know what I mean? They'll just use his video and create, you know how they can do that? They can use your
Mhm.
face and then have you say anything, right? So they'll just be like, I'm still alive. I'm in the White House. Send $25. Oh my God. It's probably true, right? It's probably going to be true. 10 years later, they'll still be sending money in.
I don't know though. Maybe there'll be a couple people that are still brainwashed, but I do kind of feel like as Trump's out of the picture for a little while, most most people that voted for him or really supported him, there's going to be that shame to it. I mean, you'll probably have a few cuckoo birds out there that will send him money for life,
Oh
but
my God.
but I
I
think
feel
the
sorry for
overwhelming
him.
majority won't
And
remember
this
him kindly.
this is the last question, and we're going to call it. Will he have a state funeral? I just want to say that Linda G saw him in a glass coffin at
Mm,
a mall, and then I saw that, and I said they're going to charge $20 a head to see him, and I'm going to pay that $20 because I'm going to walk up to that glass coffin. I'm going to be knocking on it, going to see if he's alive, see if he flinches.
mm.
What do you
I
see? Do you see him having a state funeral?
I do feel like there's going to be a state funeral.
Oh, for the love of God. For real?
But Biden's not the type, even though I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people there or people, you're not going to see a lot of leadership or anybody really coming and paying their respects. But I do think that they'll hold something there just because he was technically president, even though, but it's not, I don't see a lot of people there for it.
And meanwhile, Carter says, I don't want to state. I don't want to, lie in state. I want to have a funeral over here at the local funeral parlor down the street or whatever. That's a real man right there. Wow.
I
So
don't see it getting a lot of attention. I think somebody just said, I hope it won't be televised. It might be televised, but I don't think a lot of people are going to watch. It doesn't feel like it's a very big thing. It feels like it's very small. Biden's not the type to say he can't have, he's just not that kind of person, I don't think, where he would say, no, we won't have something there. But it
he's
doesn't
not that kind of person. He's not that kind of person. He would use it as an opportunity to pull America together. That's what he would do. And Norma, I'm telling you right now, the ocean would spit it back out. The ocean would spit it right back out. It would just keep washing up on the shore at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I mean, he really does deserve to be buried next on the golf course next to Ivana, Yeah, that's true too. They'll have a state funeral so they can record all the attendees to generate FBI lists to know who exactly to keep a close eye on, like they did Navalny. That's what they're doing with Navalny's funeral. All the people that showed up and put flowers down, they're all, being recorded and being visited. They're being visited.
Yeah. They already know though who they need to keep an eye on. So
yeah, I agree.
They already know.
We already know who they are. Wow. Okay, everybody. Well, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you haven't done it, please check out Kevin Loving Vibrations channel. He's a fantastic healer. He's a fantastic reader. If you guys need healing or, advice on your life or stuff that's going on, hit the man up. The information is in the description of this video. And honestly, our chakras are jacked up, y'all. After all of this like toxic stuff, like I feel like we all need like a flushing. So go to your Reiki people and check out Kevin. He's a great healer. Get an energy flushing. I did it, and you feel like a new person. You're like, whoo, I didn't realize that I was so, just with all this stuff, right? So it really does help.
Yeah, especially I think with all the intense energy, just to kind of help bring in that grounding, help bring in that peace of mind and balance and uplifting thoughts. That's what we have to do to get through this. We all have to come together as a family, as a community, just breathe, be there to support each other. We're going to get through all of the craziness and we're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Can I just say something real quick, Susan?
Yeah.
If you're interested in it, please go over to my channel, Kevin's Loving Vibration, and subscribe. I think I'm like 50 or 60 away from hitting 12,000. So every 1,000 for my subscribers, I do a free giveaway for a free reading or free Reiki session. I'm sure we'll probably hit that tonight. So on my Tuesday show next week, I'll tell you how you can enter the giveaway for that. But you do have to be subscribed to the channel. So if anybody's interested in that, please come over and subscribe. Help me get that goal.
Help push him over the edge, guys. Like 50, 60, we can do that. We have 2,500 still left watching us. Just go over to his channel. You can see it in the description, or just go to Kevin Loving Vibrations on YouTube and help the man achieve his goal. Because then you can also get in the running for the free session. So that's pretty cool too. And that's funny, Jen Lynn. Jen Lynn Terrell is here. I had such a blast with you and Terrell's Apprentice on Monday night. Check out Jen Lynn's channel as well. There's some great people. We have just so many great people in our community. Aren't we lucky? My God, couldn't have made it through this without all of you. Seriously, take really good care. Ground yourself. Drink your water. Take really good care, everybody. We're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. If it wasn't okay, frankly, we would be broadcasting from another country. We would have already left. Hey, y'all, get out as soon as you can, okay?
Right.
I'm broadcasting from Texas, y'all. If it's not going to be okay, I would have been gone already. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. That's so sweet. Thank you, Fields of Gold. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to Kevin. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I'll
It's
be
gonna
back
be
on your
okay.
channel later this month with the Fefe, so that's going to be fun.
Right. The three of us, me and Kevin and Afefe, are going to do a political video. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get through it, guys. We're going to get through it together. That's how we're
Yeah.
going to do it. We're going to get through it together. We're going to support each other, and we're going to be okay. But just take
Just
good care of
breathe.
yourself, okay?
Just breathe. We'll get through it.
Yeah, we're going to just take good care. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the YouTube land. Take good care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.